Hello, and wherever you are in whatever part of the world, it may be good morning, maybe good evening, maybe good night, but I greet you today with joy. Where I am, it's a Sunday in the United States of America, and I'm on the road in a hotel room, and you're looking at Ask Dr. Sujay. Thank you for joining me for my podcast. It's so important to share with you, to engage with you. Many of you have asked about my traveling. You know that I'm a global traveler. I was the U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom in the Obama administration. So I had 199 countries in my portfolio. Traveled to 29 of those countries for President Obama and Secretary Hillary Clinton. And prior to that, had been to 20 other countries. So I have covered a good part of this globe, probably 70 countries out of the 199 that were in my portfolio. And so many ask me about traveling. How do you handle it? So I thought today I would do it from my hotel room so you can see just what it is and what it takes to be a traveler, a global traveler. So today I'm local and I come in a day early whenever I have to speak, at least a day early, particularly if it's domestic, a day early. If it's global, I try to get in at least 2 days early. One day just for your body to adjust, and another day just to be prepared and rest up and practice what you're going to say. So there are 3 C's I think that are very important if you're going to be a traveler. One is culture. The second is change and challenges. And the third is what to carry with you, no matter where it is. So let's delve into culture. Wherever you are, there is a culture. My late friend, the Reverend Dr. Katie Cannon, who was the champion of womanist theology, used to say, know the culture where you're going. So when I went to Harvard, she said, what's the culture? And I was like, what is that? She said, what books are they reading? What do they do there for pastime? What do the professors do when you're a professor? And what do the other persons do when you're an officer of Harvard, as you are? Find out the culture, what you wear, what you eat, what the discussions are, what they're reading. And so I said, oh, I've got it. So as I went to the White House, she asked me the same question, what's the culture? And at that time, they were reading this book, Stephen Carter's The Culture of Disbelief. And she said, read that book so you can be in the discussions. She said, also understand, if there's a meeting at 6:30, understand there was a meeting at 6 that you weren't invited to, and there'll be a meeting at 7:30 when you leave. So make sure you arrive early, you come prepared, meaning you've read the New York Times and the other periodicals that they're reading, and make sure that you stay. You don't just run out of the room, but you're still part of the conversation. Engage, ask them what did they think about what was presented so that you understand the culture. The other part of the White House culture at the time I was there, 1993 to 1994, as a White House fellow, was that the women wore a strand of pearls, a skirt, and everyone had to wear a blazer whenever you were in public and outside of your office. You had to have a blazer on, or if people came into your office for an official meeting, your shoulders were covered, and usually they had little pumps, no stockings. That was my first time not having to wear stockings, pantyhose, and a little shell. And so that was the culture. And I learned it well. I had a 1-year-old baby at the time, but I had to learn how to navigate and negotiate in that particular space. And I'm so glad for Reverend Katie Cannon saying, understand the culture. So that's the first thing. When I would go overseas as a U.S. ambassador, representing President Obama and Secretary Clinton, there was a Foreign Service Academy that actually prepared us for whatever culture we were going into. What were the languages, the dialects? What do women wear who were professionals? What do women wear when they're going to a state dinner? Because as I arrived in every country as an ambassador, there was always an ambassador's dinner in my honor on the first night at the embassy, usually hosted by the ambassador of that particular country. And so I wouldn't have to have clothing and attire that fit that particular event. But we would be in meetings, government to government, so I had to do my research and understand what their government leaders wore. Usually, and almost always, I was the only woman at the table. And usually it was a table filled with men, maybe 12 to 14 men, but around the back, the culture was in many of the Mideastern countries particularly, The women who were in the room sat behind me around the side of the room, not at the table. So you have to understand the culture of what does it mean to be at the table? What does it mean to talk with those who are not at the table? And make sure that you're engaging with all kinds of populations. That's part of the culture. So the Foreign Service Academy would prepare me, but also my office staff. I had a team of 16 who worked for me, and they covered all areas of the world, all the regions of the world. And they would brief me on number one, what I was supposed to do as ambassador, which was carry the message of the president and the secretary to that particular government, and bring back the message that to them from them for the president and the secretary. But I also was to make sure that I understood what my mission was, what my speech was. I had to practice those speeches. And so my team would help me with speech writing. It actually had to go around about 37 times before it came back to me. And everybody had to sign off saying, this is politically correct. Oh no, this will be too explosive. Cut this out. We need to add this. So by the time I got a speech, it was definitely what the government of the US wanted me to take to the government of a particular country. So culture is the first C. Second C is change and challenges. There is going to be something, we call it drama. There may be a delay. There may be a cancellation of a flight. There may be people who were supposed to pick you up and they missed you. Or if you're traveling solo and not representing the government, you have to do your due diligence before you go, because there are schedules, train schedules, bus schedules, Uber schedules, and you have to understand the challenges in another country. Do you have the currency that you need for that country, or do you not need to change your US dollars and just use your credit card? What are the other challenges? So I recently just came from Saudi Arabia for a Global Women's Forum conference. And there, women are not supposed to be alone by themselves. So as soon as I found an Uber driver from my hotel that I felt comfortable with, who was from that culture, and I knew that he needed some more work, I asked him and hired him to be my driver for the entire 4 days. Wait for me, take me, bring me back. If I needed to make a stop, if I needed to shop, to take me to the local places, to translate for me and let me understand what I was going into. There were some items I wanted to pick up for my guests and my friends from the U.S., and to take me to the places, not the touristy places, but the places, number one, that were safe and that he would go to. And sometimes I would ask him to go in and actually get the item, depending again on the culture. Because women, number one, are covered up in that country, but even foreign women who may not cover our heads are expected to have our arms and our sleeves covered and to have our legs covered for most of our legs. And so that we are always representing and affirming and respecting that particular culture. If you're going to London and you're meeting with the royal family, there are some protocol things you need to know. Whether you are the president going, the first lady going, a diplomat going, you have to understand the protocols of that particular culture. So the first C was culture, and the second C was challenges and changes. What are the challenges with protocol as you're going in and out of the rooms? And you can really make sure that those challenges don't overtake you if you hire the right people. So take some currency with you. That's another C. Take some money. Don't go on the road broke, whether it's domestic or foreign. Have some singles so you can tip people and be generous. Have some fives, some tens. While you're in your Uber, actually you can tip people now or give a gratuity. So be gracious and be gratuitous so that you can not have as many challenges and they can be minimized. So culture, changes and challenges. And you must also know that there may be a crisis in that country. So before you go, you want to make sure of what is happening politically there. And it's always good to check with your embassy. What is your embassy saying? Is it a safe time? And many times they will ask Americans to reschedule their trip. Change your trip. That this is a hotbed time. It's not time for you to be there. And the last thing is what to carry. Well, there are all kinds of things. Number one, get a cell phone that works. I now have the i17, not because I wanted to keep going up, but I needed a phone, number one, that had the cameras that work. I also needed a phone that could take my messages and that I could text and I can email and I can get pictures and I can send videos for Ask Dr. Sujay. You want to have, first of all, a cell phone that works. Now, many of you may take an iPad. I choose not to have an iPad. This is my computer that I work from, and I love the computer. It's my Mac. I have a Mac Desktop Pro, and it works for me. But then carrying a computer, I love having long nails, but I can't punch up my stuff quickly with the long nails. They break, and so I have chosen to cut mine to a regular size, and I keep them manicured. But you have to make those kinds of decisions in terms of what works for you. But if you're going to have a manicure, you have to carry always a little bottle of nail polish to touch up, not to paint over, but to touch up those places that get nicked, because picking up baggage, and sometimes you have to carry your own baggage. Not always, but sometimes you do. You nick your fingernails, and so you want to do that. You also want to carry whatever memorabilia identifies you. So I wear my ambassador pin when I'm on official business. I earned this. It's the seal of the eagle with the state surrounded, and I wear that so people understand when they see me that there is a recognition. I also have a lapel one that doesn't hang around my neck, but that is a lapel. It, number one, is a showstopper, and it's a discussion maker because people want to know what that is, and are you really an ambassador, and then tell me about that. So it's a discussion maker. But I also carry with me a change of clothes. I may go casual, but before I get out to where the passport office is or the passport transport is, I'm going to change before I meet those who are meeting me. And so I have a change of clothes. Wear something comfortable is usually a very long ride. Anything over 4 hours for me. I wear comfortable clothes, but I change. Sometimes I've had to change in the airplane bathroom. But you want to make sure that as you publicly appear, that you are well. And the other thing that I carry always is a set of earplugs so that I can plug in and hear my movies. Others cannot hear me when I'm discussing privately. I make sure that the private discussions, whether you think they're understanding your language or not, people do. So you want to make sure that your discussions are private and that you keep your volume down. I also not only carry a change of clothes and earplugs, and I also carry my computer, my cell phone, but I also carry these things: a set of glasses and a spare set of glasses. I can see without them, but I also want to make sure that I can see with them. So whatever the reading is, or whatever the print is, or the font is, I want to make sure I can be able to see. Now, if you have to do a public presentation, like a media presentation, I ask them to make the font as big as possible if there's a teleprompter. I don't want to make it look like I'm squinting and I'm trying to read. I want it to be as natural as I'm speaking to you right now. But they also have apps now that could put the teleprompter right in there so you can't see it, but I'm able to read it. So I take the tech that's necessary for me to go. I take the tools and equipment that I need to see, to hear. Now, I'll say this to Black women because, when we're traveling around the world, not everybody can do black hair. And so I've learned to take hair pieces. I'm not embarrassed by it. Different hair pieces for different occasions. Some to swim in at the beach and some to look good when you have to pop up, because on a day-to-day basis, sometimes I could have 3 or 4 different appointments and you want your hair to be ready. And not everyone can do black hair. Not everyone wears natural hair. And so I take hair pieces that look very similar to what my hair would be. And so those are some things that I carry to make sure that my trip is as smooth as possible. I have no problem sleeping, so I don't need things to cover my eyes and cover my ears. I sleep very well, whether it's on a plane, a train, or in my bed, my hotel room, but I do try to take bottles of water. I drink as much water as possible. You need to stay hydrated. Sometimes, yes, you are running to the bathroom more than you would like, but you need to stay hydrated for your kidneys, for your flow, for everything that happens on the road. You're eating different foods, so your body needs to eliminate. You need to make sure that you have everything you need. So water, glasses, hair, cell phone, computer, change of clothes. Those are just some of the minimal things. And lastly, I'll say for my skincare, I certainly love lotions. I love lotions. But for me, the best thing, particularly if I'm going in and out of chlorine swimming, is Vaseline, Blue Label Vaseline. And sisters, you know what I'm talking about. We grew up on it. Others say it clogs your pores. I think if you look at my skin, it's pretty good here. I have very smooth skin, and Vaseline works for me because I have dry skin. And so I want to stay moist. I want to stay vibrant. I want to have just a touch of makeup. I'm not a very heavy makeup person unless I have to go on TV, and then they help me with makeup. But I just make my trip as smooth as possible so that I can go and do what I want to do, whether it's vacation, whether it's business, whether it's media, whether it's diplomatic. I want to make my trip as smooth as possible. And of course, have a passport that does not expire before 6 months. You want to have a passport always ready. So if it's getting close to 6 months or less, then renew it now, so you're not in trouble when you're ready to go wherever you want to go. So these are just some tips of Ask Dr. Sujay. And if there are other topics you would like me to talk about, please send me an email or text me at askdrsujay.com. But we also are going to be doing a series on soul care, the website where you can find all of me, my books, my soul care cards, my merchandise, my scheduling, being in contact with me is drsujayglobal.com, DRSUJAY global.com. But be in contact with me. We have these new soul care cards, and if you want to know more about who I am and what I'm doing, go to drsujay.com, global.com. But if you want to ask me some questions and topics for Ask Dr. Sujay, reach out. And I hope you like, you share, and you subscribe. Thank you for sharing with us today. I hope these tips on travel from Dr. Sujay were good. I live in Harlem, and I'm a globetrotter. So I'm really a Harlem globetrotter. Not the basketball one. I am the female one that's gone all over the world and represented you for our President of the United States, the first African-American president, President Obama, and Secretary Hillary Clinton. It's my joy to have shared this time with you. I hope it was helpful. Stay tuned for all other episodes. We're going to be dealing with headliners of hope, and we're going to be dealing with soul care and a lot of series. And I'm going to be having some master classes that I'm going to be sharing with you soon. So thank you for staying with us. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Be good to yourself. Take care of your soul, but take care of you. This is Dr. Sujay signing off from Ask Dr. Sujay.